I have been making a Nights into Dreams fangame, and I have just finished my version of the Paraloop. The Paraloop is an ability that Knights has that allows them to encircle an object and collect damage, or do something special to it. Sounds simple enough. To make a Paraloop or side loop system, you'll need a few things. 1. You'll need a trail. 2. You will need the ability to collide with the trail. And 3. You'll need to know where on the trail you collided. 4. You will also need to know where the middle of the circle is. To do that, you'll also need something in between that. You'll need to find out where the opposite side of the circle is. To control this, I have 2 scripts attached to one game object. First is the trail emitter. To do this, I simply spawn a cube at the location of the emitter and add it to a list of game objects. This cube is also tagged so it can be detected easier. This cube also has a small script to enable its collider after some time to prevent some annoying bugs, and to delete it after enough time has passed. This for loop here simply removes any deleted items from the list. The other script manages detecting the trail and figuring out where to spawn the Paraloop. Since the trail is comprised of a list of cubes, I can simply check which cube I collided with. Figuring out what the cube on the opposite side of the Paraloop is was a bit trickier. First I thought I could simply divide the collided number in half, but that gave some weird results. Eventually I found the solution. What I need to do is firstly get the number of the object you collided with. Say 4. After that, you need to get the total amount of objects that are in the list at the time of collision and save that number. Let's say there are 24 objects. Then you take the collided number and subtract it from the total amount of objects. In this situation, you'd be left with 20. Once you've done that, then you can divide the number in half. You'll be left with 10. After dividing, the final step is to add the original collided number back. Your final result will be 14. In case of situations that aren't as nice as this one, you'll also want to set the result to the next whole number. Now that you have the objects of the collided object and the opposite object, all you have to do is get their transform dot positions, and then add them together and divide by 2 to get the center position. All you have left to do is instantiate the Paraloop. I also added a simple cooldown system to prevent the Paraloop from being rapidly instantiated. It increases by 1 integer per second, and compares if the number is greater than a set cooldown length time whenever onTrigger enter is called. Then it sets itself back to 0. Now that we got the Paraloop to spawn, we need to allow it to collect items. This Paraloop object prefab itself is tagged with a unique tag and has a single script on it. However, this is another simple delete script that won't clog up the system. The way we get this to work is actually a little inefficient, but it works well enough for me, at least. On start, I have the item figure out which player it should contribute the points to, whether it's 3D or 2D. My system finds the player state manager and determines what player to use from there. Even if your game won't have multiple states in the same way mine will, you are probably still going to have to use the dreaded gameObject.find. In the editor, I have defined a boolean to determine what the object that is attached to the script is, because I am lazy and don't want to make more scripts than I have to. Then, whenever onTrigger enter is called, I make sure that the object isn't the player, so that the stats aren't added twice. Wait, without this Paraloop check, would it happen to just any object with a rigid body? Hold on. Yeah, okay, it does collect it. So, all I would need to do to fix that is simply add a check to make sure that it is the Paraloop. Wait, wouldn't that just be redundant? Can't I just remove that and it's good? If anything breaks, we know what happened. Anyways, once it gets past that step, it will check using the booleans I defined earlier to determine what it should do. Then it checks which player it should use, and the rest is copy and pasted from the player script. I was also going to add a little animation that drags the object to the center of the Paraloop, but I didn't feel like finishing it. So that's it. how to make a Paraloop or a side loop type ability in Unity. Thanks for watching, and maybe consider subscribing if you watched the whole way.